Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Aftershock, where we're going to be covering the latest and greatest of everything that happened last week, both in Web3 and in the Metaverse. So we're going to go ahead and dive straight into it. And we're going to start off by looking at this week's Aftershock.
The Aftershock.
So we're starting off this week looking at Kraken. So Kraken reaches $30 million settlement with the SEC over staking as IRS seeks user information. So this was really substantial news. Kraken basically had to stop all of its staking and also is having to pay about $30 million. The SEC charged Kraken with failing to register the offer and sale of their crypto assets staking as a service program, which the commission claims qualified as securities under its purview. Crypto firm has agreed to cease operations of its staking program and pay the $30 million fine. Now, this is very interesting because there are a lot of different exchanges that provide staking opportunities. One of them being Coinbase, which currently you can still go and stake over at Coinbase. So we believe, or I'm looking at this as this is not the end of where we're going to see staking begin to have effect on the market. As soon as this news dropped last Friday, we saw a pretty significant pullback. This could be sustained based on what happens now as the aftershocks kind of go across the rest of Web3 and different exchanges that are US based. So we're going to keep monitoring this, but this was a really, really big story. And again, might shape how the governments and the SEC continues to go after the Web3 market after everything that happened with FTX. So not surprised here, but not the end of what is yet to come. On the subject of Coinbase, we're going to look at how Coinbase diversified revenue with staking comes with what's happening with the SEC. So staking makes up more of Coinbase revenues than ever before, but because of the stance on staking, this is a major problem. So Coinbase has been working hard to diversify its revenue streams away from trading fees. Staking service has played a pivotal role in that endeavor. Between the start of 2020 and the end of the third quarter of 2022, Coinbase raked in $9.46 billion from retail traders and an additional $508 million from institutions. That represents 90% of the $11.7 billion revenue Coinbase brought in over that time, per the SEC disclosures compiled by Blockworks. The weight of Coinbase's trading fees revenues have been shrinking. Trading fees made up 87% of quarterly revenues throughout 2022, but on average, 77% of the first 3 quarters of the last year. This is to say that staking is huge for Coinbase's business. When the news dropped about Kraken, you saw a huge pullback in Coinbase stock, like not crypto, but like the actual stock, because Coinbase is a publicly traded company and its stock took a huge hit. So the CEO of Coinbase is trying to help tamper some of these sentiments that's out there to say that, hey, it's going to stay here, it's going to be here, but time will tell. This is going to be really challenging to hold up, and it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks and months to see how the SEC potentially goes after Coinbase over this as well. Next, we're going to look at the stablecoin issuer Paxos reportedly probed by the New York State regulators. While the exact reason for the investigation has been revealed, it has been reported that the New York regulator plans on upping its efforts to protect consumers this year. Paxos Trust Company, the New York-based stablecoin issuer behind Binance USD, BUSD, and Paxos Dollar USDP, is reportedly being investigated by the New York Department of Financial Services. Now, this is very interesting because Binance abruptly stopped all U.S. withdrawals and said it was going to stop and it wasn't going to do any more. And I was curious, like, well, where is this coming from? And it's very clear that basically after this came out, Binance immediately came out and was like, all right, if you're going to do this, play hardball, we're going to play hardball too. And so because they're looking into this, Binance has also put its foot down and said, okay, well, we're going to stop all of this as well. So this could have major implications Binance has been in the forefront of a lot of different moving pieces that could have large implications for the market this year. Binance is the biggest exchange in the world by far. And uh, the less access to that people have to Binance, it's not necessarily great for its bottom line, but also it just goes to show that there's a ton of companies that are distancing themselves away from having to deal with the US and the SEC. So it's kind of isolating us in a lot of ways. So this is a story that we're going to keep monitoring closely, but there's a lot of cause and effect happening right now, and I don't think we're seeing the end of it. Next, we're going to look at Microsoft, and Microsoft is it cut its Metaverse team it created 4 months ago. So it let go along with 4.5% of the company's workforce last month. So the team dubbed Industrial Metaverse Core Team was formed in October and tasked to build industrial networks and assist users with metaverse operations. It worked with customers across various industries, including healthcare, retail, and financial services. Notable clients included Coca-Cola, Unilever, and General Motors. The executive VP and chief commercial officer at Microsoft, Judson Adaloff, said. 4 months later, the team, comprised of an estimated 100 employees, was let go as part of the company's 10,000 person job cut in January. Now, I don't find this extremely surprising. Microsoft cuts things very early, does not let them really play out. And then what they'll do instead is go and purchase something that's further along and built. Microsoft really, once they eye something and they see it's not really panning out, and they looked at what what Meta was doing when they switched, and they were trying to say like, hey, we need to keep up with them. We need to do something. And they saw how much money Meta lost last year building on this. They're like, you know what? Let them have this for now. We'll see once they get it figured out, and then we'll see who else is working on this and probably go buy them out. So I think this is a strategic move, and it's unfortunate for those who were working over on that division, but pretty optimistic that they can go find work elsewhere. Next, we're looking at Mississippi, as the Mississippi bill legalizes Bitcoin mining in residential and industrial areas. The state's mining bill, set to become effective July 1st, protects miners from being considered as money transmitters. Senator Josh Harkins introduced the bill to the House, stating that digital asset mining has generated thousands of job opportunities for the state and provided billions in positive economic value for companies. Mississippi is trying to be a leader in the Bitcoin mining ecosystem, and they're putting in bills in place to try to maximize on that. And I think that's really cool. I think you're going to start seeing more and more states try to find ways to adapt to Web3 and the opportunities that are there. And Mississippi's obviously one that is trying to lead the charge on that. So great to see in Mississippi. We'll see what else you'll add as the year progresses. Next, we're going to look at Web3. And Web3 community unites for Turkish Syrian earthquake victims, finance redefined. So the Web3 ecosystem came together to offer all possible help and aid to the victims of the Turkish Syrian earthquake, one of the worst natural disasters in recent history. In the aftermath of a deadly 7.8 magnitude earthquake in southeastern Turkey, the Web3 community has come together to raise awareness and aid for disaster victims. Stablecoins could prove to be a critical factor in larger DeFi adoption, Aave founder Steny Kulichov said. According to the Aave executive, building the payment layer, which involves stablecoins, can potentially hook regular people into the space, eventually introducing them to DeFi. On the other hand, S&P Global Ratings believe DeFi protocols can attract institutional interest if they get securitization right. Now, this is a major disaster that happened last year. That happened last week. There's been over 3,000 deaths. There's actually over 100 people are being arrested. These contractors and architects who helped build the city, because this devastation shouldn't have happened, because a lot of corners were cut while a lot of the buildings were built. And so it's a very unfortunate situation, but it's great to see Web3 stepping up and trying to provide aid and support over for Turkey during this hard times. Final story that we're going to look at in Web3 lightning round is Shopify launching suite of blockchain commerce tools for merchants. Shopify NFT merchants can now use the token gating tools to dictate which token holders can and cannot gain access to exclusive products, NFT drops, and benefits. So the crypto-friendly e-commerce giant Shopify has launched a suite of blockchain commerce tools to enhance the user experience. By announcing the move via Twitter on February 9th, Shopify blockchain team designer noted that we've launched some fresh tools to help you build token gating apps for Shopify merchants. In particular, expanded crypto wallet connect features and token gating application programming interfaces API tools have been highlighted. The latter has been early access beta access mode since June of 2022 and previously only available to a select number of merchants. I think this is really cool that Shopify is doing more to get some of these Web3 devs to be able to come in and build really cool stuff on top of it. The music industry is moving in the direction of Web3 and sees how powerful it can be, not just for your producers, your musicians, and the companies that are helping to create all this amazing music that we enjoy, but also for your end user, and being able to, if not only have a piece of ownership, but also have a way to be more direct and make sure that their patronage is going directly to the musician and musicians that they admire. So I think this is really cool. And I think this is a great final story for this week's Web3 lightning round. That is going to wrap us for this week's Aftershock. Really hope that you enjoyed all the different articles and information that we shared with you. If you liked what we had to say, please leave us some comments over on YouTube if you're watching us there. Also, make sure to, if you're over on the podcast, share this out. We're trying to get more podcast listeners, subscribers, everything else. Follow us on all of our social channels. And we hope you enjoy all the content that we're putting out. Otherwise, we hope that you continue to stay cryptocurrent.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Cryptocurrent. Cryptocurrent is a cryptocurrency and blockchain education platform that's bridging the gap between the curious newcomers who are just discovering the space and the thought leaders who are shaping its future. All opinions expressed by Richard Carthon, the Cryptocurrent team, and their guests on this show are exclusively their own opinions. This show and any other cryptocurrent production is exclusively for informational purposes.